Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of taking a walk down memory lane about the Spice Lookbook. So one of the first things I did is I looked online for kind of like inspiration images, and that was for to advise them on their photography, but also for how we wanted the whole magazine to look. Because yes, it's like a designer's lookbook, that's the inspiration. But because we wanted it to be informative to masqueraders, always giving them something extra, there was going to be magazine-style articles in it as well. So I loved this, which is from a Vogue magazine, and that's what I took inspiration from for the very first page of content where Anya's band leader tells the masqueraders important information and gets them excited and explains the theme of this year's masque. And then I took this so that the graphic designer and I, Amazon, would understand how to work with both images and text on a page. One image I really wanted to show you that influenced the photography a whole lot was for the wine cluster. Each cluster was given inspiration from the photography's point of view. Depending on the cluster, we took like lots of inspiration from Victoria's Secret for the with diamonds. Diamonds are forever. Now for the wine cluster out of the vineyard, I found this image and I just said, you know what? That's what we want.
The inspiration that Sophie came up with was vintage bridal because it was a little softer. The makeup was red lips, 40s eyes, 40s hair design. The photo effects was warm, desaturated skin, and you would be able to see it had a vintage look to it.
We want the costumes to pop. We want the costumes of the colors to remain true, but we want the girl and all of the background, and the guys actually, to have a vintage feel because wine is aged, you know what I mean? And the style of, just the lips and then the eyes out was, kind of throwback to the 40s and earlier, the 20s and even earlier than that sometimes, You can actually see, we talked about how we wanted the photography to look. And so you see the different clusters, diamonds, ribbons, fashion, and wine, all have an inspiration. The hair and makeup all had a connection. The photo effect, how we were going to treat it on the computer later, even the backgrounds that they were going to use, and to a certain extent the model poses.
I'm excited by it, not only that the look of it is different and Spice has definitely risen the bar, because we always try to do things a little different, and I hope people recognize that. And for me, is a lot of things that is involved in the magazine itself, and I hope people could see that when you actually have a copy. And I hope you guys read it because a lot of effort and a lot of work went into it. Ours, and of course we had many discussions as a team. I would like for people to even look a little deeper inside, because what we try to do, apart from showing costume,
which of course is like the main thing. You must do that. That's why the publication exists.
For me, and I think the team is driving home in the magazine certain articles and educating the masqueraders.
So we had meetings, we sat down and we talked to everybody about what they thought was important information for masqueraders to have, but also stuff that was in line with the fun and the vibe, and don't be too serious, but take it seriously. You know what I mean? That was important. So the content was worked out from like early on. Stuff like, we want masqueraders to know that it is illegal for us to pile your headpieces onto a truck. It's a fire hazard, We want to let people know that we're not being mean. We are making sure we do things right, because from the get-go, that's been one of the important things at Spice, that things get done the right way. So my favorite article in the whole thing, right, is the how not to wear your costume.
Yeah.
Because we sat on my day, and they were telling me about the kind of things they've seen on the road, right?
Google walkers me with this thing, and I was like, she was like, y'all, this headpiece is too small for me. I was like, what do you mean it's too small for you? I was like, well, headpiece is one size. She was like, no, well, my head is too big, I think. I was like, what do you mean your head too big? And she was like, it can't go underneath. And she put it on and put it on. I was like, the strap does not go underneath your chin. It goes behind her. And she's like, oh, okay.
If somebody came to me and asked me that body hat, I would have laughed. I wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't get an answer.
And I was like, look, we cannot just describe that, alright? You cannot describe that the man is wearing the headpiece like a party hat. You just cannot do that. You had to show people that, right?
Yeah.
And we knew we couldn't do like a whole big photo shoot and production, and that wasn't the point, you know? But we called up my brother, and we said, Jeffrey, we wanted to make a yourself, right? And he's good at that.
You could say.
If anything, we'll sleep it, but
Yeah.
and find a girl. And you know, he bought Sasha, who, when I tell you, we saw it, we were like, but girl,
No,
you
she
should
was
be in
fun.
the
She was
photo
fun.
shoots,
Yeah.
you know? And now Sasha is such a good friend of the band. And
But if you ever have questions, masqueraders, always feel free. When you see, officials in it from Spice, we are there to help to make sure the process is smooth for you.